And welcome into the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you, a.k.a. Well, I'm not going to give myself a nickname. We got Han Solo, a.k.a. A-Team Captain. How do you give yourself two names in one box there?
Because I represent two identities.
Okay. We got Muncie over there on the far right. And then we got these two. These two cats who, anywhere they go, entertainment follows them all over the globe. Last night, Romo and Jamie Thompson, Springfield versus Poland. Let's just start with that because it was. We were going to get to it third, believe it or not, but it is overtime in Springfield. Guys, walk us through that quickly. What was it like in there, and what would it have been like with a capacity crowd like it should have been?
I mean, we had talked about it multiple times last night during breaks about, like, geez, this would, just from the start, we knew it'd be packed if we could have full capacity because Springfield's gym's not that big to begin with, and I mean it's crosstown rivalry. A lot of those kids have to know each other, but yeah, then Springfield coming in, we learned just before the game that they were without two of their starters last night, two pretty big parts of the team, two very good scorers. And then, so we knew they were undermanned. And then, Poland coming in, I mean, they never play a bad game. They're always going to come play their basketball. Coach Grisdo, he's one of the best coaches around. He always gets them ready for any competition. And then after the first half, I mean, we're looking at it, and Springfield's up by 5 at the break, but we didn't know how long that would last because Poland's press was working really well. Springfield, they were not getting the shots they wanted to, and we knew that they were already down 2 people. They don't have a deep bench last night. They didn't have one, so we knew that they were going to get tired out throughout the game. But something about the Springfield Tigers, man, they never quit. They played Poland's pace the whole night, and they ended up coming out victorious. I mean, Poland, I think the first 4 overtimes, they had the last shot. The first 3, they had the final shot. The second overtime, they held the ball for the last, minute and 15 seconds. And then they had an unfortunate missed layup it was very makeable, just rimmed out. And then the 4th overtime, Jacob Joyce, who came in for Springfield, I mean, he had barely played the whole night, came in, and then he hit the game-tying layup with about 2 or 3 seconds left to send it to a 5th overtime. Jamie and I mean, we were exhausted from the announcing. We both were out of water. It was a crazy night.
Did I hear that you were cramping up along the way?
Oh, yeah. After the 4th overtime, I jumped up. My right calf just gave out. I was gonna have to call the trainer over. I was gonna have to get my legs stretched out.
I heard you calling for Gatorade and the trainer and the athletic director. I'm sitting there dying. I'm like, my man he's going to hell.
It was crazy, man. It was insane.
James, how was it for you?
I mean, it was one heck of a game, and I've always kind of like how Billy is with Beta. Someone's got to be the calm one, so that kind of tended to be me last night because Romo being the play-by-play, you got to be all in on it. So, I mean, it was a heck of a game, and kind of like he touched on, AD came over to us. We knew Medvick was out, and then he broke the news that Bo was going to be out. And I already thought, looking at common opponents, Poland, they're so tough to play when, it's kind of the first time seeing them. I just was like, oh, man, this could get ugly. Like, you're going to need a big night from Smith and Wary. And they delivered. Romo, if I'm not wrong, I think it was 31 and 27. Those two scored respectively. I mean, Smith went 17 of 20 from the free throw line. They balled out. They did exactly what they needed to do. And it was just so impressive to watch them just continuously just pound away. Like he said, they played Poland's pace. And not too many people are able to kind of shift their game, especially with the way Springfield plays. I mean, you guys know it. It's even with football. They're that just high-paced, high-motor offense. And once again, kind of like in the state semis, it came down to the defense. 3 separate times they stepped up and they made plays when they needed to.
It should be a law that those two teams play in whatever sport it is. I mean, it's just anytime those two teams are in the same facility together, you're almost guaranteed a great game just from an entertainment value. So hopefully they get that done. But a great call by you guys. A lot of us were watching the Facebook feed, and it just kept going up and up and up and up and up and up. And then we looked at the the raw numbers after 2,700 plus watching, and that was pretty cool. So another, just I mean, I feel bad telling you this because it's almost embarrassing, but you guys continue to bring people to the table. Somehow you get these awesome games. I mean, on a Tuesday night, and it always seemingly involves Springfield. So congratulations on another great call, and we wanted to have you on and talk about this game because it was big.
It was.
It was big. So all right, but I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to pretty much throw up. But let's get to National Cheese Lovers Day. What's your favorite thing with cheese? Favorite thing with cheese? Could be anything. Billy, we'll start with you.
Cheesecake.
Thanks for buying me time, dude. I didn't even get to even look at my water that's sitting right next to me. Cheesecake. All right, Paul, please help.
Yeah, my favorite cheese is Swiss cheese. So, being that my favorite cheese is Swiss cheese, I would go with a nice big fat cheeseburger.
So you pick the cheese that doesn't have any taste to it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, or let's just pick cheesecake. There is no cheese in cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Well, you know why he likes cheesecake, because his favorite quarterback likes the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield.
There you go.
Who doesn't
Romo,
like the
let's.
Cheesecake Factory?
What's that?
I mean, be honest. Who doesn't like the Cheesecake Factory?
Some of us like it a little bit too much for private situations. Let's go to Romo. What's your favorite cheese covered anything or kind of patented, even if it doesn't have cheese apparently, like cheesecake?
I'm gonna go with traditional pretzel with cheese. I mean, it's the best concession stand buy that there is at any sporting event. I mean, it's been my go-to for years, and it probably will be for more years to come.
The lovely can of cheese that they just dip in.
Yeah.
It's like you have no clue what that cheese is, but it's like it's just delicious on a pretzel.
I like the cheese stuffed pretzels at Sheetz. My favorite, like always my go-to. All right, James, how about you?
Well, I love American cheese. I'm just going to put that out there. American cheese is the best, but grilled cheese for me, I mean, that's my go-to. Whenever I come home from school and I just need something to make, I just bread, make some tomato soup with it. It's unmatched.
Yeah, grilled cheese with tomato soup is so underrated. Underrated.
You get to dip it in the tomato soup.
Yep.
Tuna melts. I mean, I was gonna go with grilled cheese, but if we're going, the Grand Royale is tuna melts. I'm a big tuna melt guy, with obviously tomato soup. So, what's your favorite? What's everybody else's favorite with cheese? Taking your comments in the comments right here on the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet, Clientele, Myers Family Insurance, K Squared Marketing, Nightline, and iSynergy. All right, guys, a lot of stuff to discuss. The biggest one, OHSAA today, coming out, releasing the opportunity for teams to have basketball doubleheaders. Okay, so one team can play up to two games a day, now via OHSAA regulations and rules. Do we think this is a good idea? And if you were a coach or an athletic director, would you ever put your kids through this? Yes, no, maybe, and why? We'll start with Captain Cheesecake himself. There's your third nickname of the day, Han Solo, Billy McCartney.
Yeah, I like the idea of doubleheader basketball games. I'm pretty sure AAU plays them. I remember my brother playing them all the time. I mean, why not? These kids, and right now in a time where we're having hard times getting games in and missing, sometimes you might, you never know what next week's going to bring to you. You might be on that exclusive COVID list. So go ahead and get yourself some doubleheader action on a Saturday night or even possibly a Sunday. So whatever you do, got to get these games in. So I'm all for them.
All right, Paulie, how about you?
No, I don't like it. I don't like it for the fact of, you're going to play, hey, we're going to play a game at 2:00, and then we're going to come back and we're going to play a game at, 6:00 or 7:00, whatever it's going to be. To put the kids through that in one day, it's
No, they'll adjust. They're athletes. They'll figure it out, man. Like that's weak. That's weak. That's tough. Like they'll figure it out. They're athletes.
Hey, Billy.
yeah.
When's the last time you ran 3 miles in a day?
2 weeks ago.
When's the last time you ran 6 miles in a day?
Today, I'll do it today.
Okay. Well, let me know how you feel tomorrow because you'll have a game again tomorrow. You just do it all
Yeah.
over
They're
again.
I mean,
athletes. They'll
listen,
figure it out, man. Like, that's what athletes do. They adjust. That's what kids do. Kids adjust every day to all the things.
That doesn't mean you can abuse them. I mean, you could punch
They'll be
somebody in the
fine.
face and they'll
That's
heal up.
not
Doesn't mean you should do
abuse.
it.
That's not
Listen,
abuse.
I understand.
Two games in a day is not abuse.
To Billy's argument, I understand they're high school kids and they're resilient and they can manage it, they can handle it and stuff. But then why would you want to do that to your kids? I mean, because take for example what happened last night. What happens if you go into a triple overtime in the first game, and now all of a sudden you're going to say, okay, hey, in 2 hours we're going to come back and play, whether it be the same team because you're trying to get both your league games in or something, or another team's coming in
fresh.
And now that team's coming in and you're going to be like, hey, we're going to play again. What are you playing the game for? Just to play the game? Because now, like, if a fresh team's coming in and they got 10 kids that haven't played all day and your kids just played either a regular game or overtime game, and now you're playing and you end up losing, like what did you play the game for? I mean, and not for nothing, like I'll be honest with you, I don't get it. Like, play the schedule that you have right now, and if you're playing one game, you're playing one game, and that's it. Like, if you have time to fill your schedule on the back end and fill it up, great. Everybody's trying to get these.
I mean, these kids at
right
these kids are AAU are playing 8 games in a weekend. I mean, that's playing a doubleheader every day.
But exactly, it's money.
But they're playing, and they're still playing at a high level. So
you know what you're getting into when you sign up for AAU. You are paying.
You're paying to play basketball. Is what you're doing. My question to you is I've heard this all day long. It's our question of the day on YSN. So you want to compare it to AAU, okay? And I'm fine with AAU. I can appreciate it, but why would you? It's different. AAU you're playing during weekends, in tournaments, and there's an expectation to that. You should not want to play just tournament basketball. That means we'll just get rid of Tuesdays and Fridays and Thursdays, and we'll just play Saturdays and Sundays. We'll play all day. It'd be a dream for YSN because we just put cameras in 3 gyms and let them go. But the kids are going to be wrecked. They're going to be wrecked. There's no chance. There's no chance that this ever works. And I think it's a bad look. I think it's another black eye on the OHSA.
Double headers every game, every day.
No, but they're going to
you just play double headers on Saturday.
How long do you think those kids from Springfield and Poland are going to be wrecked from their legs last night? Because what you said, two players for Springfield play the entire game?
Yeah, all 52 minutes.
You think about that, Billy. They're not. If there was a game tonight, there's no way that they are going to be 100%.
I think over time that they would adjust.
And you're only playing those doubleheaders most likely on Saturday, and I get it because you're not
Sunday.
playing you're doing it week. But some schools don't let them play on Sundays.
Well, we saw Boardman play on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was maybe because they had Monday off and they knew they had Monday off because of MLK Day, but I mean,
how would Coach Seidel saying you're telling me the kids couldn't handle a 10 a.m. game followed by how would your football players feel if they had a 10 a.m. game followed by a 7 p.m. game? Could they do a double? Would they be willing to?
Because you say 10 a.m. That means the kids are getting up by 8 so that they're at the gym by 9. To get ready to do things. And now their game's over by 11:30, maybe noon. You get some lunch, you go home and rest a little bit, but you're turning around and be right back at your school by 5, or 6.
And we've already established that basketball has the most injuries in any sport, whether it's ligaments or.
I thought soccer is the leading injury for sports in Ohio.
Unless you've got a different statistic than I do, basketball has been for the last 2 decades the leading injuries in sport because of ankle injuries and at least reported. That's what we're getting.
And all that stuff. But I mean, somebody's going to do it. If they get the green light, you guarantee somebody's going to say, okay, we're going to start playing some doubleheaders. But I just laugh because it's all of a sudden we got a football season in, an altered football season, and in a full playoffs. This has been hit and miss and everything. Everybody's trying to jam in all 22 games right now, but it's like everybody's making the playoffs. So, like, why are we trying to jam all these games in and try to – because we're on the back end of the season now. We only got, 4 to 5 weeks, if that, left. And everybody's going to try to jam all this crap in at the end. And what are you doing to your team? Like, you are going to put so much stress and just wear and tear on your kids right now on the back end because you're trying to make things up. I mean, most leagues have pretty much said there is no league championship because there's not going to be any league champs because you can't get all these games in. And especially when you're looking at what we've just talked about, there's 4 schools right now that they're done for the rest of the week, boys and girls. And so are you making those games up? Probably not. But now they're going to say, let's go play, double headers on Saturday or something.
So let me ask you this, because this is the second half of this whole thing. Why now does the OHSAA, now keep in mind, in the back of your mind, when the tournament starts, why now does the OHSAA decide, hey, you know what? If you want to play 2 games a day, be our guest. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen very often. So my journalistic expectation is that for the OHSAA tournament, don't be surprised if you see one team playing twice in one day.
I think more it was. I think they were getting a lot of heat. Maybe that could happen, DJ. But I think a lot of right now they've gotten so much heat from coaches and ads and principals and superintendents going, listen, our team was just out for a week, and now we need to try to make up these 2 games. And there's not enough time for us to make those games up unless you let us have double headers. And then I think you're going to start seeing them have. And that's why they did that. So
here's my thought process. When I seen that question, my first instinct went right to, well, look, the team just got here. They must not have COVID. They all got their guys here, so they might as well play 2 games. And that was what my initial thought process went for the playoffs. So, hey, if you win, you're going to play again here at 8 or whatever the time is in between. And you're all together. You're all here. You just played a game. You were approved, COVID, tested, all that. You're good to go. You're not sick. So you might as well stick around and play another one. And then that way they get to have 2 games in there potentially. And then maybe, only have games on the weekends or have games spread out a little bit further so these COVID issues don't come up.
And I think you hit the nail right on the head. You hit it right on the nose, Billy, because Coach Seidel is wondering, well, how does this benefit the OHSAA in the regular season? Well,
it doesn't right now.
But
it will if they use it like that, so there's no forfeits.
Yeah, because they don't want forfeits because we're seeing, Colin Cowherd came out yesterday and said that the NFL should move the game to wait for Patrick Mahomes if he's not healthy. That's stupid. If you're in the same building, just play 2 times in one day. It's that easy because guess what? Double the ticket prices, right? Keep that machine moving.
Yep.
The OHSAA doesn't do anything just to do it.
No.
There's something on the back end of this that they're thinking about and going, huh?
How can we make money off this?
Exactly. Ty, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ty.
Thank you very much. Hello. How are you guys doing today?
Do you have an opinion on basketball doubleheaders before we get to the Entertainment Brothers?
Not a big fan of them. I know in AAU you play them, and I understand. And like you guys said, I saw you guys before saying it is what they signed up for. Not a big fan of them because number one, with some of these teams, they're stretched already so thin. Some of these teams we see use 10-man deep benches. And unless you're going to extend the benches to where more kids can play in that second game, I don't like it. I don't like it from a competition standpoint either because tired legs they're gonna prevail. And you see them in AAU, they're able to compete at somewhat of a high level, but you're not going to get the absolute best competition as you would because some kids are going to conserve their energy for one game to the next. So you're not going to see them go out there, go all out for one game, and then then be left with nothing for the next. I mean, I know they're kids, I know they're resilient. I know we have some great athletes in this area, but I think from a competition standpoint as well as just an injury standpoint, tired legs after some time they're more susceptible to injury, especially if you run a full basketball game playing a high level of minutes 4 quarters, and then you have to go out there and do it again. You risk those ACL injuries, those MCL injuries, rolling an ankle, spraining an ankle, and just from an injury standpoint for the kids too. I'm not a fan of it.
Romo, your thoughts?
I mean, I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, part of me understands it in the way that, like, right now, which is actually pretty odd to me, because it seems like today and yesterday stand out that a lot of schools are getting shut down lately. Like, I don't know if it's just a big rise right here. And, like, I looked at the state numbers for the coronavirus yesterday, and it was like 500 cases yesterday below the average, which, I don't know. That was just something weird to me. Maybe it's starting to affect Northeastern Ohio more so than the rest of the state. But then again, I mean, it sticks out, like what I had said earlier about the 2 Springfield players playing 52 minutes apiece the whole game in that first game. Like, for example, to come back and play another game, it doesn't really make sense. And yeah, like, you could add more spots to the bench and let more kids play the next game, but then it's not really a true varsity basketball game. I feel like. I mean, yeah, it's good minutes for the JV kids coming up, but then it's like, it seems like we're getting away from what we're really looking for here. So are those JV kids, if there's 2 games in a day, are those JV kids going to play 2 games too? Or are they going to play none? Are they going to get no experience time? Or I don't know.
Jamie, how about you?
I mean, I don't want to piggyback off of Roma too much, but I'm kind of down the middle as well. I was just listening to you guys absolutely hash it out up there. I mean, that was great streaming right there. But I get both the cases really, because I feel that being a young guy, they would adjust, like Billy Mack said. They would adjust. They would find a way. But then you can also take what Ty said, man. The injuries, they start to come in. Fatigue is a real thing, and you can see just become more and more susceptible to injuries. But what Coach Seidel put up there was pressure from the schools that weren't allowed to play until after Christmas. That's exactly what Hubbard was. They couldn't play until later on. And me and Romo have a lot of friends on that team, and they're kind of pissed off because you're facing these teams with 8 wins, 10 wins already. They started with Poland, Struthers, and South Range. Those are 3 teams that were in form right off the bat, and they had to pick up with 0 games and rather 0 practice as well. That's tough. Everybody wants to win come tournament time, so they want to get these games in. And I know, kind of from their standpoint, they wouldn't have a problem playing a doubleheader, especially with being shut down again. They want to get all their games in. I mean, Romo just talked to one of the players last night. He is mad because they're shut down again, and they're taking away his senior season. I guarantee you have no problem playing a doubleheader if that's what it meant to get all the games in.
So I guess, why are we looking at doubleheaders instead of adding games during the week?
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be good if you could. Well, I guess
girls this week got 4 games. 4 games this week. So
I could see the issue with that,
right?
I think that comes down to you're looking at finances then, because you're going to be looking for teams to play. Can you get buses to get to those games now? And, the athletic departments are already hurting because they can't get fans in there. So now they're going to be looking at, now we need to pay for busing. We need to get these kids to these games. So, I mean, that's where I think it comes in.
We got Coach Matthias chiming in here. Sorry to cover you up, Ty, but we're going to read through this because this comes with some good info, I think. If you start playing 2 games in one day, kids have more exposure to the virus, which would be possible in more teams quarantined due to contact. It's going to be hard enough for some teams to make it through the schedule they have now, plus tournament. Your best teams probably aren't winning districts or going to the state. The luckiest teams this year make it the farthest in some cases, and I think there is some truth to that.
Well, every year the luckiest team goes on in the playoffs. That's kind of how that goes. I mean, you got to get a little lucky to go deep into any playoffs. Just look at how Paul said about the South Range team. A little luck, we'll miss this, we'll miss that. You're going to go, but you don't know what we could be playing the same team. So would it increase the chances of exposure to more people?
So let me ask you this: from that standpoint, if you schedule a doubleheader and let's say a team wins 76-12 in that first game, and you start thinking, hey, I mean, I'm getting on the bus and I'm probably not getting off. Like, what motivates you to play that second game if you just lost by 60?
Which I lost by 60. I mean, I scheduled it. I mean, you can't go out there and play the games you schedule, right?
This is supposed to be for the kids, right? This is why we're doing it. But if you get blasted 76-12, you're telling me you want to go lace it up and go get them?
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't schedule that team. You kind of know who your team is going ahead of time, don't you? Have we been over this?
That team's in your conference.
Well, then it is what it is. You got to play them. Deal with it.
Yeah, and that would be weird, I think, with the doubleheaders, how the schools would manage that, because like you said, some conferences aren't going to have a league champion. So it's weird, because it's like, are you going to play two teams in the same day? Or are you going to play one team twice? And then if some conferences still are having a champion, that's going to mess up the whole table if you're playing a team possibly 3 times in a year. And I mean, it's weird. I don't know, because I know, like, in PA, you have to play a certain amount of games to qualify for the playoffs to play. So then you see, let's say OHSA says the same thing, and some of these teams like Hubbard, for instance, are having to cram all these games just to get into the playoffs. And then let's say you sneak out of the first round, and then you have to go to Struthers, who, I mean, already they're one of the best teams that we've seen, one of the best public schools we've seen in the Valley in, I think, a long time. I mean, they're starting out 12-0.
Yep.
They won at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse the other day, and I mean, they're 12-0. I mean, they've had great luck. They haven't had any games postponed. They were able to start on time. So like that, like, you're already exhausted enough, and then you're gonna have to go play a team like that. I don't know. It's weird, but I mean, it's a weird year, so nothing surprises me at this point.
Any final thoughts on this before we go to a break?
You can see it as like a case-to-case basis, because I remember we talked earlier in the year. It was that game. It was 73-9 or whatever, and they tried to bring their JV team. So I think good programs like that will be able to find a way to make it work if they're hurting, looking for games, because you can schedule whatever opponent you really wanted to play first, and then you bring in a lesser opponent, and then you can get experience for further down in the bench. But I mean, teams that struggle, you're going to struggle if you try and go a doubleheader, because it's tough to find a good matchup as it is.
No, I can appreciate that. All right, that's going to do it for the first half of the show, which is brought to you, coincidentally, by Joe Dickey Electric. Visit them on the web at dickieelectric.com. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, you need to call our friends over at Joe Dickey Electric today. Tell them YSN sent you. Did you just get zapped?
Yeah.
Attaboy. When we come back, we're going to keep talking about some, I guess, record breakers here on the network. Drake Golden, we had the man calling the action on solo right there in the middle of your screen last night. Drake becomes the all-time leading scorer at Crestview. We also had Ashley Schroeds of Southern lighting up the scoreboard for, 51 points last night. And Heartland Christian, we had Maddie Matthews lighting up. We'll talk about all that and more when we come back on the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by these great sponsors.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit dickieelectric.com. That's dickieelectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at bairdbrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
And again, we want to thank all of our sponsors here on the YSN Power Hour. Let's go to, let's change up the comments and the banners here real quick. Let's go to Drake Golden making history last night here on the network. It was in La Brea. Usually you like those things to happen at home, but it happens the way it happens. We'll get to some comments here of why you do those things. Billy, you had the call. You were the only guy in the building that was able to drill that call and have it right on the spot. Talk to me about how it happened and the excitement in the building last night.
Well, we'll start from the top. I got there. I was introduced by some family members of Drake's family there, and kind of reminded me of, hey, I'm already on it. You ain't got to worry about it. I know exactly how I'm at, but we'll double check. We'll go ahead and she said, hey, he needs eight to surpass. Giving him 1,308, 1,307 was the mark. So, wait. Yeah, 1,307 was the mark. 1,308 was the pass, and she just kind of kept saying, "Hey, eight's the number. Eight's the number." So as we're going, I'm check marking as I'm going, just to kind of keep in score here. But I also knew Todd Rowe for the La Brea athletic director, and the Brea High School was going to call a timeout when it happened, and they were going to stop the game and kind of thank you and kind of acknowledge it. Basically what a visiting team would do. It was pretty cool. When he struggled at first in that first half. It didn't come until about a minute into the third quarter, and he finally he had an and one. So he got an offensive rebound, his own offensive rebound, and went right back up, got an and one. So he was able to kind of break that record right there, and then go and shoot another free throw. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty special. I've never seen anything like that before. Someone breaking a school record, being the all-time leading scorer. It was pretty unique. It was pretty cool. He seemed like a humble kid. I talked to him after the game, just for a brief moment in passing, and he just said, "Thank you, appreciate YSN, appreciate everybody coming out to watch me, and hopefully we can get more W's." That was kind of what he said. So, and they won the game. So it's always cool when you can do it, and then you can break any type of record and win the game. I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago. Was teams are basically giving up L's, trying to prevent them so they can do it at home, and he went ahead and said, "Screw it, I'm going to do it on the road and try to get this dub."
If you don't know Drake Golden, he is you nailed it. He's one of the most humble kids there is in the entire world. He's been a fan of the network since day one. Crestview, obviously, one of those original four schools. And Drake was a guy that started his freshman year in basketball, kind of owned the court and continues to do it. We called him the Golden Boy for 3.5 years. And last night, during our congratulations and our shout out to Drake for breaking the record for the all-time leading scorer at Crestview High School, we finally said it was the Golden Man. So the boy has become a man right here in front of our very eyes, which was pretty cool. I mean, when you think about watching 4 years of tape on YSN of this class, this senior class, it's pretty neat to think about. But congratulations to Drake. Interestingly enough, and we'll talk about this a little bit, because of records being broken, this is a world right now that records are starting to get kind of tied together. They're intertwined, because we got a message this morning saying that, well, you might want to check if Drake's the actual all-time leading scorer at Crestview, because I think it's Chelsea Boker is the all-time leading scorer for the girls, and she has a higher number. So does that make her the all-time leading scorer for Crestview, or, as I previously thought, and I think it still stands, those records are completely separate? They're completely separate because even though they're technically the same sport, it's not the same thing.
So Paul said
boys
yesterday,
and it's
stay in your
girls.
lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if somebody wants to get technical, they're going to say then Drake Golden is the all-time leading scorer for the boys basketball team, and the other girl, and the girl is the all-time leading scorer for the girls team. But if she's got if her number is higher, then I guess she would have two tiers. Then she'd be the all-time girls, but she would be the school's all-time leading scorer.
You could just say she scored more points than anybody else, boys or girls basketball.
It's different competition. I don't see how those can be combined.
Yeah, you could just say she has the most points in basketball there. I mean, it is what it is at that point. But yeah, I mean, he's the all-time leading boys scorer. There's no girl.
I think I'm just going to go leading scorer. I think when you look at them, I think you can kind of figure it out yourself. If you were to say all-time leading scorer, I think you could kind of figure it out.
This only works one way, though. You know what I mean? Like, this only works one way. Because the only other sport comparable would be track and field. Right? So I don't think that a boy is going to say that.
You wouldn't say, like, a softball pitcher and a boy all-time winningest pitcher. Like, you wouldn't say it.
Well,
you wouldn't change it any other way.
It's not the same sport.
Which is kind of the same. I mean, I would say it's not the same sport either.
I think it's the same sport. Like, it's
basketball. I see what DJ's saying. You're saying if, like, kid A in boys track ran a 4.2 in the 40 or whatever, at the 100 or something, and the girl ran a 4.4, but they both are, like, the girl's the all-time leader in girls track, the boy's the all-time leader in boys track, man. That's
because a guy is not going to sit there and say, I'm the all-time leader over the girls' records, because it's just not, they're not equal most of the time. The girl can say that, you know, if her record is better, she's going to come out and say it naturally. And we're not trying to be sexist. That's just the way it goes. Usually you don't look and try to mesh these records. It's just this banner. Right?
It's not that way either. And like WNBA compared to NBA, like Diana Taurasi is the leading scorer for WNBA, but I mean, you're not gonna sit there and say, well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar actually scored more points than her or whatever. I mean, it's completely different.
Wouldn't that be weird, though, if that happened? If you saw a graphic one day that had the WNBA and the NBA, and you just thought to yourself,
it's coming. That day is coming. Is coming.
It's apples and oranges.
It's coming, though.
Absolutely.
Weird. But I thought it was, I mean, not to take away, I mean, it was just a question that we had this morning, but I thought it brought up an interesting topic, because I've heard this before of, well, that's technically not right because X, Y, Z. I mean, Browns fans and Steelers fans go with this argument all the time over world championships versus Super Bowls, different eras, different competition, all that stuff. Wanted to get your thoughts before we moved on to some other record breakers.
I guess it just comes down to your verbiage. You know, what is your verbiage? You know, are you going to say he's the school's all-time leading scorer? But,
yes.
You know, yes, that's how I'm going to say it. That's what I said last night.
But you could say he's the all-time leading scorer in, you know, boys basketball.
Why do you have to add boys basketball? Like, it's a well-known fact he plays boys basketball.
Or you could say the program. He's the program's all-time leading scorer. I would say program. Because if you're going to say the school, that's where that argument comes in. Because they're going to say, well, technically, somebody at this school scored more points than you did, and it's
so instead of representing the school, you're representing the program now.
But the program still is the school. It's still Crestviews boys
program. So then it's interchangeable.
Yeah.
I would say the program's leading scorer is what I would have said.
Jamie and Roman are just too tired. They don't care.
Hey, man, I mean,
they're here because I told them they had to be.
Well, there's nothing really else to say, man. I mean, you can go back and forth about it all day. Some people are going to say it one way, others are going to say it another. All I got to say is congrats to Drake Goldman, from one school record holder to another.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
You got to go out there. You got to go out there. You get yours. You go get your bag. Congratulations to you. I don't know him personally, but he seems like a chill dude. He's been in the comments before. He seems like a cool guy. Congrats to him and his family.
Yeah. Like Romo said, you could just end it by just saying they were both great players for Crestview.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the end of the day. They're both fantastic talents for Crestview. And I mean,
records are made to be broken. That's all I gotta say. And we did some
not this one.
Go ahead, Ro.
And I was thinking, like, first thing that came to my head when you brought it up was like, who cares? Like, who cares? It's two completely different sports, and I think that's something that's really wrong with like society today as a whole. Like, every time one person gets to the top of the mountain and they accomplish something, someone has to come at them from the side and just try to bring them off of their barrier. And it's like, what? It's like, what's the point? Just let someone enjoy their accomplishment. That's just something that I don't understand. And like 50 years from now, you're not going to remember the exact numbers. You're just going to remember the accolade itself. And records are made to be broken, so it's not. I'm sure the record's not going to last forever. So why don't you just enjoy something while you have it?
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you 100%. Everybody wants to cut everybody else's legs out from under them when they're on top of the mountain. So
unless you're Cy Young, that record's not ever getting broken.
Well, apparently Jamie's record's not getting broken either.
No, there's no chance, man. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. You guys want to take another look at it? There it is.
What's your
break it, dude? It's like turning sideways. What are you doing there?
I know it's pulling off. Hey, man. Career stolen bases and season stolen bases for Hubbard, and I am 18th on the state list in career stolen bases. So
didn't
not
you get
a state
100?
record, school record.
Is it 100?
104.
Man, I don't know who did your stats.
104.
Fun
One
fact.
season?
No, not in one season. 37 in one season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun fact, he almost got the 100th stolen base in my jersey.
So you had an on base percentage of like 790.
Well, basically the way it goes, Billy, is whenever I get on, I steal second, and then I steal third, too. I actually did it against Ursuline.
Well, I didn't play for Ursuline.
Huh?
I didn't play for Ursuline.
You coached
Oh,
them.
no, I'm just saying.
You don't have to be politically correct on everything. Sometimes things aren't the same. I think there's some benefits to that. I think that's legit. All right, let's get to these other record breakers. Last night, really interesting, and I know people are going to sit there and say Southern isn't one of the YSN schools yet, but Ashley Schroeds, with already a 30-point game in the bucket earlier this year, throws up 51 last night in a game against Heartland. 51 points. I mean, we celebrated Kobe's 81. This is a freshman putting up 51 points last night. Tell me I know what happened when I first saw the statistic come out when I got the game log. I just went, that can't be right. 51 points? I mean, that's impressive, right? No matter who you are or what you are.
I mean, being a freshman, too, the sky's the limit for her potential, too, because, 51 points, boys or girls, it's hard. 8-minute quarters, man, and, you got to get your rest in between those. Not a lot of time to make up those shots, especially with no shot clock. So 51 is very impressive, and coming from a freshman to be that confident in taking those type of shots and putting up that kind of number, sky's the limit for her right now going forward. I want to see what she's going to be.
She'll be a 1,000-point scorer in no time.
Basketball, Kobe.
Like
Next
that.
game. Next game. I mean, have you ever had a game like that you just you threw it in and nothing was going wrong?
No.
Never had a game like that in my
not
life.
me. Never.
Oh, yeah. Video game. That's about it.
Well, that's because you doctor them all up, Munson. We all know about your shenanigans.
Everyone's got 99 overall.
Yeah, he's 7-foot receivers.
That's right.
That's pretty cool, but I used all my love for Southern in football already.
Hey, I just looked it up. She averaged 1.7 points per minute. Per minute. That's
You
insane.
looked it up or you added it up because you're a nerd.
I added it up. So,
But that's if she played every minute, right?
Right. If she would have played every minute, she would have needed 1.7 points per minute of the game, which I doubt she did, because if he had 51, my guess is the margin of victory there was probably pretty high, so she wasn't playing the last 2-3 minutes.
That's one of those scenarios where you look at what color Gatorade she's drinking, you start drinking that color Gatorade. I mean, that's one of those things you're like, wow, Ashley Schroeds is drinking yellow Gatorade. Can I get one of those? I
Yellow
want to be
Gatorade is the best.
I'm a big yellow Gatorade guy. it's the
Red.
OG of Gatorade.
Fruit punch.
Orange.
Orange is the best one. Like, that's the most refreshing flavor.
Oh,
No,
no.
But I say
It's the
yellow is
yellow.
the best. Yellow is the best.
Refreshing. You want to talk refreshing? Like you could drink it as like a relaxing cocktail. Cucumber. Cucumber is
Get outta here.
legit.
Cucumber
I swear
Gatorade?
to God.
I'm good with that.
No.
It's so good.
It's
It's so
disgusting.
good.
I have never seen the cucumber.
I've
Gatorade.
never seen it.
Clutch gets it every damn game, and it sucks. It's terrible.
I
My
love
mom got it on accident the one time, and I was like, never get this again. This is so terrible.
it. Ty Coach Seidel is calling for a trivia champion recognition of some kind.
We already know that. We all are well aware of Ty's trivia.
Trivia Tuesday died after I was on it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, you raised it up and then you slaughtered it like a cow. Like you are literally, you should be at G. Berwick Farms because you just raised up a bunch of beef and just took us out. That was the greatest day of the week. And Ty, you made it and then you killed it. You murderer. Get out of here with cucumber drinks. Cucumber Gatorade, I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to try it now. I like
refreshing.
and I like cucumbers. I like them in my salad.
It's terrible.
But
Do yourself a favor, Paul, and don't try it.
yeah.
All-time OHSA record for girls' points in a game is 76. I was curious. Sounds like she could do that at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If she wanted
Maybe
to.
maybe she'll.
Well, I
do
wonder
it
what
by
year
herself.
that was in.
I don't know, Ty. You should probably know that.
Yeah.
Probably
Why are you asking
2005.
questions, Ty? You know the answers.
Yeah, like just go, just say, like pretend you did a presentation on it, and it'll just pop in there.
I was reading through the OHSAA website, and I happened to see that it happened in 1995.
I seen their Twitter page come across my screen, and all of a sudden, I just thought of it.
This is how Ty reads a book.
I know it all.
We're good. All right, let's go to this second part. Where's my banner at? Come on, I made all these banners. All right, Maddie Matthews, Heartland Christian last night. The same game as Southern Local, as Ashley Schroeds is 51. Maddie Matthews, single game points record for Heartland Christian with 32, and then she hit 6 threes in that game and took home 2 records for that scenario. If you could break any 2 records in any sport, in any game, what would it be and why?
Well, she had to put up those many points to try to keep up with the other girl.
That's all right. Congratulations, Maddie Matthews, by the way. We don't want to take anything away from you.
No, she's a good player. I called one of her games this year. She can shoot the ball. So she's a good player.
I believe her brother Ronnie was. I think it's her brother. I feel bad now because I don't know that for sure. But he was part of the Heartland program, and I think he's now a coach in the 7th or 8th grade ranks. I think that's what Coach Scott told me. So basketball in the blood there in the Matthews family. All right, but seriously, 2 records. Jamie, you can't do the stealing record again. What sport would they be, and what would you take home the records in? Mac, we'll start with you.
Like in the same game?
Sure.
Home run and it's got to be baseball. Home run and Cy Young. Like the most wins, beating Cy Young's record. Because it's never going to get broken.
How do you do that in the same game, in one game?
Babe Ruth was a pitcher and a hitter at the same time.
We're talking one game, Billy. Like you can get in one game and have the most strikeouts in one game. You can
For your
have
team.
you can't have the most wins.
But you could break the career in one game. I didn't know that we were just going to do it in one game. I mean,
This girl just did 2 things in one game last night. We're talking about one game. You get one game, you can break 2 records. What are you doing it?
Come on, Billy.
home run in a perfect game. I mean, I don't care. I'm pulling a Quinn here. So,
Paul, how about you?
I don't understand the question.
No, it's a stupid question.
It's not a stupid question.
No.
Yes. To break the all-time record for perfect games in a single game.
It's just because it's only like a basketball thing. You can't do it in any other game.
If I
You can be a pitcher and a hitter, break the all-time record in strikeouts and home runs in a single game.
I just did all time. Home run and most wins.
You're confusing them. You're confusing them.
Yeah. I mean, I do get Billy's point. Like, it's hard for like baseball. It'd be hard to try to break 2 records in baseball. But
how?
I mean,
I can think of one right now.
I mean, Billy wants home runs, and he's going to throw a perfect game. It's the only.
You can do
perfect game
home runs and RBIs.
Yeah, why can't you do home runs and RBIs?
Most strikeouts.
Home runs and strikeouts. Like
stolen
wow,
base.
that was so tough. I don't know how I'm going to think anything else the rest of the day.
I said what I said. I stand by it.
It was wrong.
In a game. I mean, no one is going to break that record. No one is going to break the most wins in a game record. I don't think.
Yeah, but I want to beat Cy Young's record. Period. That's all I want to beat. All right. Leave me the hell alone.
And I just have to touch on it too. There was a lot of scoring in Nevada last night in basketball because I remember telling Jamie, McDonald beat Liberty last night. It was 91-74 in regulation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did.
I mean, our game it took a game and almost 3 full quarters of another game for both teams to get 270.
You want to talk about how good McDonald is. That attests to how good they are. And if you want to circle any date basketball wise, February 19th, McDonald goes to play Struthers, and that is going to be hard hitting as hell. I mean, you want to see basketball at its highest level in the area. That's going to be a great matchup.
McDonald, they don't rebuild, they reload.
Ty, what the hell happened last night with the Wi-Fi, by the way?
We were in, I'm telling you, Liberty with the MiFi. So first off, their Wi-Fi just didn't work, did not connect to the computer at all. So we tried hooking up the school Wi-Fi first. Didn't work. So we tried doing the MiFi. They have like a bomb shelter in the gym at Liberty because this damn thing could not get a single bar whatsoever. It would not connect to the MiFi. So I was talking to Brian, and he brought up a good point. I didn't even think about it. Used a hotspot on my phone. So I ended up turning a hotspot on my phone, and we were able to get it up and running after that. But like, yeah, Liberty was like not cooperating. The school, the people were very, very cooperative. We're there. They were helping us out, very friendly. But I mean, the school itself.
So I'm in the McDonald Facebook group for basketball, and there I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to get these stories up and going, and I see it just come across of YSN's having issues getting the game on, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then I saw literally right then I saw Brian sent Paul and I an email about getting it set up. So I went on the Facebook page, and they weren't. The McDonald people have been very, very nice to us. They're very patient. They're very kind for the most part. And there's one lady who is so nice because usually I go in and I say, here's the issue we're having. Please stand by. She's like, he's down there scrambling. I see him on the phone. They're trying to get something going. And all I could picture in my head was Ty, like, trying to call the game with the phone and then turn the camera.
Basically like that, yeah. It was me like just going. I was like, and timeouts. I was trying to work through stuff, but I was like, at some point, I was like, damn it, we have to just stop and we have to get this up quick. So,
good job. I mean, great job with that last night. And yeah, you're right, Ant. I mean, points are starting to come because this is basically mid-season, right? This is where we should be in mid-season. So now they're in basketball shape for the most part, the players, the student athletes, the coaches, and the points start coming. It's kind of like in baseball and softball, where as the weather warms up, the players get back into it, the ball starts traveling further, you see more extra base hits. So this is the fun part of the season. This is why it can't miss streaming on YSN. And speaking of tonight's, we have a few on the network, not as many as we typically do because it's a Wednesday night. Edison Steubenville, that's boys basketball, starts 5:30. East and Carnamooney, that's me, back in the saddle. Girls basketball, 5:30. More girls basketball, Ursuline and Cheney. I think Ian's got that. That's at 5:30. Boardman and Harding, Alec has it. That's at 7. And Canfield and Howland girls basketball. Is that Richie?
That's Richie.
That's Richie, and that's at 7 o'clock. So you've got 5.
And LeBray and Niles.
LeBray and Niles.
And Jacob McCartney's doing it.
Not listed on live games. So
yep.
There we go. 6 of them. 6 of them on the network tonight. And
doing his first Han Solo act tonight.
Look at you. Pew, 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 pew. There goes Paul putting it on the schedule. That's how it works here at YSN. We're a team. We don't do anything without being a team unit. Let's get to the G Burger Farms What's your beef? Let's go with the entertainment boys first. Jamie, what do you got?
Well, first off, like I say, my 2 records I want to break, it would be rushing yards in the game and receiving yards in the game, which would then also be all-purpose yards.
I didn't mean to skip you. Sorry about that.
No, we didn't even get through. We're good. But
Billy ruined it.
I'll say we were driving on the way home last night. Romo drove, so he was driving. We had Chick-fil-A, and I just kind of turned and I was like, man, what a blessing that was, because that was a high-fought, hard game, and it was so much fun to call. I mean, we had people coming up to us just, thanking us for all that we do and how they like enjoying what we do. And it just kind of felt cool. And I'm blessed to work for this company. I know Roma feels the same way. It's just crazy, man. Like you said, 2,700 people watching. You don't get to do that every day at 20 and 19 years old. So that was really special last night.
Oh, a guy after my heart. Appreciate you guys. All right, Ant, you're up.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to say. I mean, it was just crazy last night. It was a blessing. Like, we just keep getting put in these situations that are just insane. Like, I'm just so thankful that Springfield, that we get to go announce those games. We have Hubbard games as well. I mean, it's just all around, it's a blessing. So, yeah.
And Steve was one of the guys that sent me a message last night and said how good of a job you guys do. Nick Colsimo also. I mean, I think you guys talked to him a few times last night from Poland, a big-time supporter of YSN, jumping in and just saying you guys deserve every penny you get, and you deserve more than that because you just continue to put out unbelievable games. My mom's saying you guys are just that good.
Steve is crazy. Like, when I had the Western Reserve McDonald game last week, him and I were texting back and forth because he helped me out with a couple names. He sent me a picture. He had a game on his TV, he had a game on his iPad, and he had a game on his phone. He was watching 3 different games. So I guarantee last night he was watching the McDonald game, watching the Springfield game with those guys. He's an animal. I mean, and that's the beautiful part about our network is that you can get multiple games on your different,
people do it, man.
Equipment, so
all the time. And I love seeing these pictures of everybody's layouts because you always sit there and you go, wow, I thought I was the only one that did that, when I'm at home, because you're trying to monitor the situation for several different reasons. But obviously we're not alone. We've got people that are on multiple devices, multiple tabs on their computer, all that stuff. And it's humbling is what it is. Ty, what is your beef and or filet?
My filet is just with the game I got to see last night, and I mean, just getting a chance to call McDonald for a second time and try to do him justice, even though we had trouble. I mean, at Liberty with Liberty School not really cooperating, but still was able to get that game up what we could. And Liberty's got a great team over there too, by the way. I'm not taking anything away from them, but just witnessing McDonald and what Coach Francischelli can do and has done with that team over there, it's incredible. It's some of the best basketball I've seen coming out of this area. And I mean, I'm not trying to snub Cheney or Struthers. Those two are up there for me as well. But I mean, yeah, that the way McDonald plays with the fluidity and just how fluent they are in moving the ball, it's a sight to behold watching them play.
To the man with the biggest beanie in the world on his head right now, Paul.
To piggyback off of Jamie, if I could break 2 things, mine would have been, and by no means was I obviously one person that was touching the ball unless I was a center. It'd be in football. I would break the rushing yards in a game and touchdowns in a game. So that's what I would have done. Mine is a beef, and it has to be with some beef. On my way home last night, it was like 8:45. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to swing through some fast food and grab something. And I happened to be in the Youngstown area. I'll just say that. And I go to a Taco Bell, and I had an order, and I knew what I wanted, and I take the order, and I tell the guy, and he goes, yeah, well, we don't have all the stuff you want on that taco. And I'm like, well, it's called a bacon chalupa for a reason. He goes, well, we don't have any bacon. I'm like, then it's just called a chalupa. And I was like, and then to make matters worse, I get my food, and it comes with a drink. He hands me a drink. No ice. He literally filled the cup up with pop, no ice, put a lid on it, and handed it out the window. And I thought to myself, take it and get the hell out of there and just go home. I go home. I get a nice big fat cup of ice. Pour the pop in there. Guess what? Pop flat. Pop was flat. I just dumped it out and got a Gatorade out of the fridge. I was like, seriously?
What
color? Last night I got it was fruit punch. So I only have fruit punch and blue frost in the fridge right now. But I was sitting there, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. First off, you don't have the food right that I wanted to get, but I wasn't going to bitch about it. And then 2, you give me flat pop with no ice. Are you kidding me? That's your job. Your job is to provide a service and I knew better than to complain about it because God knows what was going to happen to my food or drink if it went back in the window. So I just took my stuff and left. But that kind of stuff bothers me.
Taco Bell, Youngstown.
Had to be across from Stanball.
I love how he said he wasn't going to bitch about it and then just put him on blast on the Power Hour in front of him.
No, I just said it was a Youngstown Taco Bell. And
I'm just going to guess from where you were last night that I know exactly where you were.
It's not going to be hard to decipher which one you were at. So.
I think there's only like 2. So
yeah.
It wasn't the one by YU. How about that?
Oh, it wasn't?
It was not the one.
I had that one dead to rights.
Nope. It wasn't that one.
Well played, Muncie. That's how you do a beef. All right, Han Solo, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with the filet, I guess. Little for me. I was super nervous last night, making sure everything because I couldn't lean on anybody. Jeff's put this, all the computer and everything together every time we went, so I had to do that on the fly by myself and kind of run play by play, basically talking to myself. I kind of felt like Paul. But I was able to muster through it, and I think I did a fair enough job. I didn't hear any complaints, and if I did, my Twiddle handle will be at the bottom. You can come at me there. And then just the game itself last night was pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I've never been able to witness somebody breaking school records, so that was pretty neat. It was super neat. Congratulations to Drake Golden. And then the way that LeBray did it was super classy. So all around, it was a good thing for high school sports.
What the hell was with the shade? Like I'm Paul over here, like talking to myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say yesterday that Billy stinks before we went off there? You deserve that.
That's it. Well, hey, you didn't want to come on the show yesterday. So.
And what's a twiddle hammer?
You guys don't call him that.
See, and he talks about Jeff over there. Jeff's rubbing off a little bit on him.
Twiddle hammer.
You guys don't call it that. That's not. Yeah, on the streets, that's what they call it. So that's,
streets, they call it a twiddle hammer.
Yeah. You're from the hood of Newton Falls.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's what they do. Like in the street, that's what they. That's how it is.
The most violence you've had in the last 3 weeks is your dog eating the bean off of your hat, dude.
I knew that hat looked different for some reason. I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
Well, you can put your finger on a twiddle hammer.
On the street, man. You guys will learn some things, man. I'm telling you.
Oh man, my twiddle hammer. I heard it and I was like, I can't let this go. Like anybody else, I'm probably just letting it slide. But
I already messed it up, so I just kept going. I got to roll with it.
Twiddle hammer.
Anybody dropping the twiddle hammer?
Looks like you dropped the F-bomb. You just got to keep.
Yeah, you just keep plowing forward, hoping nobody thinks anything of it. Well, I just got a new Twitter handle. My new Twitter handle is going to be Twiddlehammer.
Yeah, that's how I kind of felt last night because once we were getting towards the end of the game, and now that I watched it back,
you said Jamie Romo.
I noticed that when I watched it back today. I messed up so many times, and it was like we were just all over the place, like that fifth overtime. And in
the hood though, so we live in the suburbs in the hood. She forgot that part.
Billy's out there at nice manicured lawns and everything, swinging his twiddle hammer around.
You gotta learn today.
Woo! There's that nice little ginger boy out cutting our lawn today.
What's that in his hand? Oh, that's a twiddle hammer.
That's his twiddle hammer. Oh gosh.
You gonna learn today.
I got nothing. I oh my god. It's gonna make me cough and die.
That's gonna do it for the show today.
That is going to do it for the show today. I got to get to Youngstown. I got to get to the suburbs. Join us tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on the Ysn Power Hour. Thanks for everybody commenting, chiming in. Thanks for you guys taking some time out of your day to make everybody laugh at home and to inform them. And we'll see you tomorrow right here on YSN. See you later.